Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I just brought my 2006 Beetle inside the garage, and I just did an oil change, and it's very, very, very black. Now, I don't have a lot of history on this car. This is a car that I picked up about a month ago. There was an oil change sticker in the window, but it was 4 years old, so I'd like to think that the oil was not 4 years old, although it's very, very black. This car is a turbo diesel, so it's normal for the oil to be black. However, I just changed the oil, and I haven't even ran the car yet. I just changed it, and that's just by pouring it in the engine. It's as black can be. So probably what I'm gonna do is, this is some fresh oil. I'm gonna run the car a little bit. I'm gonna dump it, and I'm probably gonna change the oil a couple times. But the main reason why I have the car in here is to try to identify my power steering leak. So when I drove this car home, I drove it about 45 minutes to my house, and when I got home, my reservoir was completely empty. I don't know if you can see that. Bone dry. So what I want to try to do is try to figure out where this is dripping from, and if it's a simple fix, we'll try to address it. So I'm going to throw some fluid in here, and what I use in my power steering is this cheap SuperTech automatic transmission fluid. It's the cheapest red stuff I can find, and seems to work quite well. So I'm going to throw some of that in here, and I'm going to start the car up and see where it's dripping. All right, I've got this topped up. Let's run the car and see where she drips. Now, this is a turbo diesel, so it's going to be smelly. This is my house garage, so I'm going to open the back door. It's -11, so I'm going to try to do this a little bit quick. A little bit too cold to be having the door open. That didn't take long. Let's figure out where this is coming from. So I can see the lines underneath where it's all wet, but it almost looks like it's dripping from the top. And so I got the battery out, and everything in this car is already loose and disconnected, so like none of this is fastened. So I'm just going to pop this battery tray out and see if I can see anything underneath. Okay, well, I found the starter motor. That's in a nice location. Could have been a heck of a lot worse. I don't really see anything obvious up here. These lines, they go straight down through, and I kind of lose sight of them. I think they're through here, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna keep digging. I'm not sure if you can see that, but underneath the car, there's a cluster. Well, it's actually not a cluster. It's one long continuous line that makes a big loop onto itself. And that's obviously where it's deteriorated. The reason why I went from the top is because the top was wet and it looked like it was leaking down. But what I think it was, I think it's a pinhole shooting the fluid upwards and dripping back down. So I'm just going to just going to chop out the bad section and try to splice in a piece of rubber hose. See how that works out. So here's this piece of plumbing I took out. So essentially all it is the power steering return, and comes back from the rack, and it makes this crazy loop. I have no idea why. It makes this loop and comes back up, turns around, goes back in, and ties back into the reservoir. So I just chopped all that out. I went out and I got a chunk of rubber hose, a few clamps. So I'm going to make a modification, and I'm going to throw a chunk of hose in here, bypass all that nonsense, and hopefully we'll have our leak solved. All right, so I got this hose pushed onto the metal part. Now this is 3/8 hose. And this is German stuff. I don't know what size that is, but I had to use my heat gun. I heated up the rubber and pushed it on. So that's how I'm going to do it. There's going to be 2 clamps at each end, and I think that's going to work just fine. All right, well, I think I got this power steering leak fixed. My first splice is up here, just beyond down there. Probably can't even see it. I got the battery put back in. I've left everything sort of loose, only because I'm going to be coming back in here for other repairs and checks and things. This is a battery out of my Mercury Marauder, so that's a big V8. So this battery is just physically way too big for this area, but for now it works. See if we can see that from underneath now, my little splice. You'll see it. So there's the line coming down. It used to come down here and do that whole German engineering thing, back and forth, up and back. Anyway, I tied that in here to here. And I've got it tie wrapped in place, so be able to keep an eye on my new fix, and that should do it. So by no means this is by no means a how-to. This is how I splice up my anytime I have a transmission or power steering line, that's kind of how I fix it. And I mean, these lines are expensive, and the way that one was snaked in, I chopped it in several pieces. You actually have to take the front bumper cover off to get that, and that's a very expensive hose. All right guys, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.